Let's talk about ethnic nationality now, and talking about contributions towards national development, an often overlooked but powerful force in regional development. The Niger Delta is a region of great ethnic diversity, from the Jor to the Ishekiri, the Ogoni to the Urobo, Ibibio, and many others. Each with unique identities, customs, and communal structures. And these ethnic nationalities are not just cultural expressions, but are also critical stakeholders in development processes, playing vital roles in grassroots mobilization, advocacy, conflict resolution, in fact, resource management, and local governance. But how are these roles evolving in today's political and economic climate? Ethnic organizations being given a voice in regional planning and decision making, and what more can be done to harness their strengths for sustainable development? We're being joined virtually by a development advocate and president movement for the survival of his own ethnic nationality in the Niger Delta, MOSIEND. He brings with him years of experience in engaging ethnic platforms for peace building, economic inclusion, and policy advocacy in the Niger Delta. His name, Kennedy West. You're welcome on the program, Mr. West. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. West.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yes, well, the conversation around ethnic nationalities and possible contributions to regional development is one that is not new to us, especially in the Niger Delta region. But then there seems to be a caveat: the level of commitment from the different ethnic groups that we have in the region. And if they are able to work closely enough towards a united voice that would be able to propel the Niger Delta region to the kind of heights that forebears have dreamed of. Looking at the different ethnic colorations in the Niger Delta region, how would you appraise the journey thus far?
Well, thank you very much. Nigeria as a federal state is being held together by the various ethnic nationalities who, at one point in time, even before the coming in of the colonial masters, have been independently doing things on their own, and even interacting with the colonial masters before Nigeria came into being. And these various ethnic nationalities, agreed. Some agreed, some quite, some were persuaded to work as a united Nigeria. And for several years, so in Nigeria alone, we have over about 250 to 371 ethnic nationalities. Just in Niger Delta alone, we have about 40 ethnic nationalities or more, speaking over 250 languages. Now, these ethnic nationalities, in their front, have a lot of things in common. Sometimes it could be environmental, sometimes it could be political, political emasculation by the center, and then some other various needs of these various ethnic nationalities. Over time, the reason why probably they were not getting it right, because every ethnic nationality felt that independently on their own, within a region, they can actually bring the government to doing their deeds. But oftentimes it is not like that, because sometimes somebody might be from a particular ethnic nationality and is in the corridor of power. Just within that time, he can be able to favor or push some of their demands. And then after that time, he believes, and somebody else in that region gets to the corridor of power, he will jettison whatever the other person from the other ethnic nationality probably has promoted and promote his own ethnic agenda. That has been one of the setbacks of not giving the ethnic nationalities, not giving their due place in Nigeria and in Niger Delta at large. But recently, the ethnic nationalities have started, craving for coming together. They started doing it more, especially like this present crop of NGDC that have been holding meetings with the ethnic nationality, Apex ethnic nationality president, the Orobo ethnic nationality president, Ishekiri, Ndokwa, Idivio, Edo, Anang, Epic, and all of that. Now, meeting with the NDDC board gives them that opportunity to network, gives them that opportunity to know themselves, gives them that opportunity to exchange and contact, and then begin to sit down to start viewing some of the challenges that the region is facing. Of course, we know that we have cultural revival, political motivation. And if you also take back to before the colonial and then post-independent era, pre-independent era, you find out that the likes of Action Group is an ethnic-based political party. You have the United Party of Nigeria is an ethnic-based. You have the Northern Party, the People's Congress. They were all ethnic-based parties that advanced the push, the demand for their region until you came to NPN and then all of that. So ethnic nationality has played a pivotal role in advancing the socioeconomic and political credibility and integrity of Nigeria. But they must always come to meet at a particular point. Let me give you, for instance, countdown to 2027 right now. You find out that there are a lot of people who are now, taking some ethnic coloration. And sometimes it happens because the elite always mobilize this ethnic for their own political gain. So it is time for the ethnic nationality leaders, the apex body, to sit down on the round table and look at some of the demands that are associated within the various communities. Let me give you, for instance, Movement for the Survival of Ogoni People, MOSOP, emerged in 1990, demanding for the cleanup of Ogoni, is demanding for environmental rights, demanding for environmental justice as the result of pillages from the multinationals. Soon after then, we have also Movement for the Survival of a Zon Ethnic Nationality, MOSIEND, that emerged in 1993. And within that era, it was always movement. Of course, we know that it was in the days of the military junta. It was always movement. And then emerged the...
All right, Mr. West. Mr. West, if you can hear me, which area, let's come down to the Niger Delta region. In which area do you think ethnic nationality is being used to ensure regional development in the Niger Delta region?
Okay. First of all, one of the major challenges in the Niger Delta is environmental degradation. When oil spillage occurs, it goes several miles away to even, let's take for instance that an oil spillage occurs in Bonny. Now, Bonny is an ethnic nationality in Ejo. It goes all the way from Ogoni. It goes all the way from the New Calabar River. It goes all the way to the Calabar itself. And then it goes to Delta. Now, as it passes through, it affects the various ethnic nationalities within that river bank, within that area. Now, if there is a major problem, and we talk about cleanup, the cleanup will not be in where the spillage occurs. It will be also in the various places that either the river has taken it to and spoiling people's crop and arable land. So one of the areas challenges is environmental cleanup of the Niger Delta region as a whole. Then not only that, it also causes to damage our land. So you do not also have good the arable lands are all being destroyed, damaged, contaminated by oil spillage. That is what it says. Development itself. Over the years, the multinationals doing business denied the people of the Niger Delta by not fulfilling corporate social responsibility, by not complying to memorandum of understanding for over the years. And but these people don't do it outside the country. So if you come to the Niger Delta, you find out that the place is grossly underdeveloped. Thank God right now this crop of NDDC is working hard. The IPREP is also working hard. And now they also have the South Development Commission. All these are interventionists as a result of the demand and the push of ethnic nationalities for government to come down and sit down and bring out this policy framework and establish it so that they can address the sitting problems of the people of the region. However, complain that locally too, we have not been given a leeway. Like you can understand that the past several years or so, we were getting to another government now. It has the Ministry of Petroleum Resources has always been the Niger Deltans that you sit in that office are always Minister of State. And meanwhile, in addressing the issues, you need to be the substantive minister to address those issues fairly, squarely. But that is not the case. The two powers that play in the petroleum industry is the substantive minister of petroleum and the GMD of NNPC. The Minister of State is just, to me, is an essay, is a senior special advisor, running errands for the substantive minister. We have been denied of that as well.
Mr. West, I was going to quickly ask you and take you to how these ethnic voices contribute to the politics of the region, and broadly so. We have been having conversations around true federalism and restructuring in the country. Now, I'd like you to give us some perspective, context regarding what you think the ethnic nationalities here in the Niger Delta region, what their contributions have been so far in that conversation. Do you think they are doing enough when it comes to their political voice? How loud are they? And how strong are they, so to speak?
All right. You see that I said earlier that the ethnic nationalities within the Niger Delta before now, for certain areas they can speak in one voice, but politically and their demand, they always have a divergent voice. The voices, like MOSIEND in 2005 made a position paper during the Obasanjo Constitutional Conference, made a position paper and talked about issues that have to do with that borders more on resource ownership. But you see, that same conversation brought about the PIA now. It was a demand of resource ownership that brought about PIA. And then for several years, it was pushed back and forth, doctored by successive members in the National Assembly, until finally when it came out, they were only given 3% of operational cost of any company. What that shows is that the voice of the people in the region were not loud enough, not just loud as ethnic nationalities. How are they also communicating with their members in the National Assembly? And when it gets to the National Assembly, this has to do with lobbying. In a democratic setting, lobbying is also a key way, or approach of advancing your demand. Maybe they are demanding it, but they are not using the right instrument and appropriately the way it ought to. But recently, the ethnic nationalities have started coming together, because what you think that does not concern you, as the day goes by, you begin to find out that it actually concerns you and you didn't know this as an issue. So that awareness is coming up. That advocacy is currently ongoing. And the people are becoming more united, more cohesive in their position,
Okay, Mr. West. Another aspect I was going to ask you to come in quickly is the issue of criticisms of some of the ethnic unions that we have. We are not lacking in those. We have a lot of them. And they are being criticized, especially when we talk about the issue of shielding political elites from being accountable. Do you see that lagging in the ethnic unions that we have in the region? How have they brought the different political actors to account? How have they put them on their toes towards ensuring that they give account for their representation in the region?
Well, to address this, I will tell you that Niger Delta has been in the forefront of criticizing their own when there is no deliverable. We take the Desiani is most criticized by the Niger Delta. Meanwhile, there are other issues of corruption. There are other issues that other ethnic nationalities choose theirs more. In terms of Niger Delta, we are we're very quick to criticizing our people, more especially when we want high demand. Take a look at the size of what the NDDC board is doing. They are still criticized on daily basis. Sometimes maybe to encourage them to do more using a positive enforcer, a negative enforcer to push them to do that. Then if you also go to other perspectives in terms of the Ministry of Petroleum, you find out that the current Minister of State for Petroleum is being criticized daily. And if you want to talk about people who don't shield their people, it is the Niger Delta people. They're always at the forefront. They tell you the way it is, no matter whose boss is God. That is it. But other ethnic nationalities hardly, chastise or admonish their people and cause them to, come up with a better approach to it. Niger Delta people don't actually waste time when it comes to admonishing their people and tell their people, hey, you're not doing well. You also remember when we have Urubebe as Niger Delta minister. You also remember the Senate president, when he was the minister of Niger Delta, how he was being criticized, not by any other ethnic nationality, but more from his people. So I want to say here that Niger Delta people do not shield their people. They tell you straight as it is. They are the most criticized. They are the most criticized.
All right, Mr. West, when we talk about ethnic nationality, a lot of people tend to shift attention to the political and probably cultural aspect of it. How can we tap from the economic gains of this ethnic nationality to ensure regional development?
The reason for ethnic nationalities basically is for cultural revival, is for creation of the various ethnic nationalities in order for them to come down, promoting regional development and unity and solidarity, and seeing for true federalism. And this is what they are doing. The economic aspect of it is what we have always confronted. If you remember the issue about the onshore-offshore dichotomy during the Obasanjo era, it was as a result of advocacy for ensuring that we have a better economic state. The reason we're talking about this is we're talking about not just promoting cultural advancement, but also to see that our economic environment is annexed to our own benefit and then to the benefit of the larger society. And this is what the recent crop of leadership of the ethnic nationalities are doing. They are meeting right now. They are cross-checking themselves, looking at papers and see how they're able to meet. Any minute from now, there's still going to be another ethnic nationality.
All right, Mr. West.
Yeah.
Let me give you just one more question just before we let you go. Within the region, we are still talking about youth unemployment, despite the efforts that are being made by the different agencies of government towards ensuring that that is resolved. Now, do you think that the ethnic nationalities on their own have roles to play towards ensuring that the youths of this region are more engaged? Are we having any lease of life? Are we hoping for better days in the Niger Delta, talking about youth unemployment and how to solve that, especially with the dreams of emigration that we talk about amongst the youths these days?
You see, before now, in the Niger Delta used to be where people leave other regions to come to the Niger Delta, whether it's in Delta State, whether it's in River State, whether it's in Cross River State, to seek for jobs, because the place was peaceful, because business owners always choose these areas, because of the security situation where you have, a favorable environment. But just after the dark age of the insurgency, a lot of companies, exited the region in their droves, leaving so many youth, sending them back to the labor market. And then if you also recount that we had NPA. NPA in River State was feeding Abia, Imo, Akwa Ibom, and even Delta State as the hub of this port that was feeding. You have over 10 ships, 20 ships coming out, and then you have businesses all over. With NPA in River State on moribund, it sent thousands of people to the labor market. With the insurgency, it sent thousands of people to the labor market. Right now, it is advocacy that the ethnic nationalities are doing, still meeting with the various interventionist agencies to see how they can attract more business into the region. And we are also doing more advocacy in terms of anti-kidnapping, anti-separacy, anti-illegal bunkering.
All right, Mr. Kennedy West.
Just to make sure that the place is peaceful for investors to come in.
All right, thank you very much, President. Movement for the Survival of His Own Ethnic Nationality, the Niger Delta MOSIEND, Mr. Kennedy West. Thank you for your insights. And you'd speak of advocacy. We're hoping to see more of that in the Niger Delta region. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you for your time, Mr. West.
Very much.